What if the reason you feel tired, foggy, or weak isn't aging itself, but something much more subtle and fixable? Every single day, millions of people over 60 miss a silent opportunity. They wake up, go about their routines, and never realize that their bodies are quietly asking for something they're not getting. Something simple, something vital. Vitamins. You see, after 60, your body changes in ways most doctors don't explain well. Your gut absorbs nutrients differently. Your bones begin to lose density more rapidly. Your muscles recover more slowly. Even your brain chemistry shifts. But the real danger? Most people don't adjust their nutrition to match these changes. They keep eating the same, taking the same supplements, if any at all, and assume feeling old is just part of life. But what if it's not? What if fatigue, joint pain, forgetfulness, or even frequent colds are not signs of aging, but signs of deficiency? And what if correcting just a few of those gaps could unlock new strength, clearer thinking, and more energy than you've had in years? In today's video, we're going to reveal the 5 essential vitamins that men and women over 60 should be taking every single day, not based on trends, but based on patterns seen in the healthiest, most resilient people over 80, and backed by real science. You'll meet 2 people, both in their 70s, both retired, both living very different health journeys. One made small but crucial changes and thrived. The other ignored the signs and paid the price. Their stories might sound familiar, and their outcomes could mirror your own, depending on what you choose to do after watching this. So stay with us until the end, because we're not just naming vitamins. We're showing you what happens when your body gets what it truly needs, and what happens when it doesn't. Comment number 1 if you're ready. Let's start with something many people overlook, because it feels so ordinary. Tired muscles, slower steps, a slight ache in the knees. But behind these subtle signs, there's often one invisible deficiency quietly draining your strength: vitamin D. After the age of 60, your skin becomes far less efficient at converting sunlight into vitamin D. Add to that long winter's sunscreen use and spending more time indoors, and it's no surprise that nearly 70% of older adults are deficient. But here's what most don't realize. Vitamin D isn't just about bones. It plays a critical role in muscle function, immune resilience, and even mood regulation. Helen experienced this firsthand. At 64, she began noticing stiffness in her hips during her morning walks. She chalked it up to just getting older. But her physical therapist suggested checking her vitamin D levels. The result? Alarmingly low. Helen started a daily routine that included vitamin D3 paired with K2, along with short, intentional walks under morning sunlight. Within months, her mobility improved. She felt steadier, and the daily discomfort she once accepted as normal began to fade. Frank, on the other hand, ignored the early signs. When he started feeling weaker getting out of his recliner, he blamed it on bad knees. When he fell on his driveway one icy morning, he brushed it off. But behind that fall was a deeper problem: low bone density and muscle weakness exacerbated by years of vitamin D deficiency. Today, Frank uses a cane and avoids uneven ground. His fear of falling has kept him indoors, which only makes the deficiency worse. There's more. Research from Harvard and Tufts University shows that older adults with optimal vitamin D levels have significantly lower risks of falls, fractures, and even depression. It's not just about bones. It's about confidence, freedom, movement. If you haven't checked your vitamin D levels recently, this might be your body's quiet cry for help. Let's start with something many people overlook, because it feels so ordinary: tired muscles, slower steps, a slight ache in the knees. But behind these subtle signs, there's often one invisible deficiency quietly draining your strength: vitamin D. After the age of 60, your skin becomes far less efficient at converting sunlight into vitamin D. Add to that long winters, sunscreen use, and spending more time indoors, and it's no surprise that nearly 70% of older adults are deficient. But here's what most don't realize. Vitamin D isn't just about bones. It plays a critical role in muscle function, immune resilience, and even mood regulation. Helen experienced this firsthand. At 64, she began noticing stiffness in her hips during her morning walks. She chalked it up to just getting older. But her physical therapist suggested checking her vitamin D levels. The result? Alarmingly low. Helen started a daily routine that included vitamin D3 paired with K2, along with short, intentional walks under morning sunlight. Within months, her mobility improved. She felt steadier, and the daily discomfort she once accepted as normal began to fade. Frank, on the other hand, ignored the early signs. When he started feeling weaker getting out of his recliner, he blamed it on bad knees. When he fell on his driveway one icy morning, he brushed it off. But behind that fall was a deeper problem. Low bone density and muscle weakness exacerbated by years of vitamin D deficiency. Today, Frank uses a cane and avoids uneven ground. His fear of falling has kept him indoors, which only makes the deficiency worse. There's more. Research from Harvard and Tufts University shows that older adults with optimal vitamin D levels have significantly lower risks of falls, fractures, and even depression. It's not just about bones. It's about confidence, freedom, movement. If you haven't checked your vitamin D levels recently, this might be your body's quiet cry for help. The third behavior that slowly undermines your health often hides behind what seems like a healthy choice: calcium supplements. For decades, they've been recommended to protect bones, especially for older adults. But here's what many don't realize. Without the right guidance, calcium can become dangerous. The key missing ingredient? Vitamin K2. Calcium is essential, but where it ends up matters more. Without K2, calcium can deposit in the wrong places, like arteries, joints, and soft tissues, leading to stiffness, poor circulation, and even increased risk of heart disease. Vitamin K2's job is to guide calcium into bones and teeth and out of arteries and organs. It's like a traffic cop for minerals in the body. Helen learned this through experience. After being diagnosed with early-stage osteopenia, her doctor recommended calcium. But her nutritionist added something critical: vitamin K2. She explained how K2 activates proteins that direct calcium where it belongs. Helen followed the advice, taking a combined D3 and K2 supplement, and adjusted her diet to include fermented foods like natto and hard cheeses. Her follow-up scans showed improved bone density. More importantly, she felt stronger, steadier, and freer. Frank, on the other hand, was told to take calcium for bone loss, but no one mentioned K2. Over the years, his arteries began to harden. He developed high blood pressure and occasional chest tightness. A cardiologist later pointed out calcification in his blood vessels, a common consequence of long-term calcium use without K2. It wasn't just a matter of heart health. It was about mobility, balance, and energy, and he never saw it coming. Studies published in journals like Thrombosis and Hemostasis confirm it. People with adequate K2 intake have healthier arteries, stronger bones, and lower risk of fractures. And yet, K2 is one of the most overlooked nutrients in modern aging. The message is clear. Calcium without K2 is like building without a blueprint. You might get results, but not where you want them. Up next, the fourth sign that many people dismiss: persistent tension that never seems to leave. Trouble sleeping, irregular heartbeat, tight muscles, all of it pointing to one quiet but powerful deficiency: magnesium. Magnesium is involved in over 300 biochemical reactions in the body, including nerve transmission, muscle contraction, and energy production. But its role in managing stress and calming the nervous system is what makes it a true cornerstone of longevity. And after 60, your body becomes more prone to losing magnesium through urine, especially if you take certain medications like diuretics or proton pump inhibitors. Helen used to wake up feeling anxious for no reason. She'd lie in bed, her heart Racing, thoughts circling. It wasn't like her. Her doctor ruled out heart issues and suggested a sleep aid, but she wasn't comfortable with that. A close friend recommended magnesium glycinate, a form known for calming the nervous system. Within a week, her sleep improved. The muscle twitches in her legs stopped. She felt more grounded, emotionally balanced. It was subtle, but profound. Frank had a different story. He began experiencing cramps in his legs at night and dismissed them as dehydration. He also felt increasingly irritable, snapping at his wife over small things. His sleep became shallow and interrupted. When his blood pressure crept up, his doctor prescribed a medication, but never tested his magnesium levels. The truth? His body was running on empty, burned out by years of low magnesium without ever knowing it. Multiple studies, including those from the Journal of the American College of Nutrition, link magnesium deficiency to poor sleep quality, increased anxiety, insulin resistance, and hypertension. It's not just about what you feel. It's about how your body handles everything you go through each day. Magnesium isn't optional. It's your body's buffer against stress, fatigue, and internal chaos. Without it, even small challenges feel like mountains. As we move forward, there's a fifth pattern that deserves attention, one that touches both the heart and the mind. It begins quietly, a little more forgetfulness, a heart that seems to race or skip, a body that recovers more slowly from inflammation. Behind all of this may be one of the most underestimated deficiencies after 60, omega-3 fatty acids. Omega-3s are essential fats that the body can't produce on its own. They play a vital role in reducing inflammation, supporting heart rhythm, and protecting brain function. But here's the challenge. After 60, your ability to convert plant-based omega-3s, like those from flax or chia, into the active forms your body needs, EPA and DHA, declines significantly. That means many seniors, even those eating a healthy diet, still fall short. Helen was no stranger to joint stiffness and occasional memory lapses, especially in her late 60s. Her daughter, a nurse practitioner, suggested omega-3 testing. Her levels were low. She began taking a high-quality fish oil supplement daily, rich in both EPA and DHA. Within a few months, she noticed not just sharper thinking, but fewer aches and a calmer heartbeat. Her doctor even remarked on her improved cholesterol ratio and blood pressure. Frank had never taken omega-3s. "I eat fish once in a while," he'd say. But the truth was, he rarely did. And even when he did, it wasn't fatty fish like salmon or mackerel. Over time, he developed arrhythmia, an irregular heartbeat that sometimes left him breathless after climbing stairs. His memory continued to fade. When he finally got tested, his omega-3 index was critically low. By then, reversing the damage wasn't so simple. Research from Harvard and other leading institutions shows that people with higher omega-3 levels have lower risks of heart disease, stroke, cognitive decline, and even depression. It's not about a miracle pill. It's about supplying your cells with the fats they need to function, heal, and protect. Omega-3s don't just support life. They preserve the quality of it. If you've never had your omega-3 levels checked, this might be the moment to do it. Let me share the sixth reason why many fail to maintain good health. It hides in plain sight, in a vitamin everyone's heard of, but few truly understand: vitamin C. Most people think of vitamin C as just an immune booster during flu season, but after 60, its role becomes far more critical. It supports collagen production for skin and joints, acts as a powerful antioxidant to fight cellular damage, and most importantly, helps maintain the integrity of your immune system. And yet, as appetite shifts with age and digestion becomes less efficient, many seniors quietly fall into a chronic, low-level deficiency. Helen always had a strong immune system, but in her early 70s, she noticed small cuts on her hands taking longer to heal. She also began catching more colds. In the winter, her doctor suggested increasing her vitamin C intake, not just through supplements, but also by adding more citrus, bell peppers, and berries into her daily meals. She chose a buffered vitamin C supplement to avoid stomach irritation and made smoothies part of her morning routine. Within a year, she was back to rarely getting sick, and her skin, hair, and nails looked noticeably healthier. Frank, by contrast, had a rougher time. He brushed off sniffles that lingered for weeks. When a small sore on his leg didn't heal, for over a month, his doctor ran a few tests. His vitamin C levels were low, and his white blood cell activity was sluggish. The connection wasn't immediately clear to him. How could something so basic have such an impact? But that's the thing about vitamin C. It's foundational. And when you're deficient, the body struggles to defend itself from even the mildest threats. Studies from the Linus Pauling Institute and other research centers show that older adults with higher vitamin C levels experience shorter illness durations, faster wound healing, and improved skin integrity. And in times of physical or emotional stress, the need for vitamin C skyrockets. It's not just about staying out of the doctor's office. It's about resilience, the ability to recover, to heal, and to keep going strong. Finally, there's one last habit that might surprise you. The belief that low energy is just part of getting older. That constant fatigue, those heavy legs, the loss of stamina. Many accept it without question. But for countless people over 60, the true cause is a silent drop in something called coenzyme Q10, or CoQ10. CoQ10 is a substance your body produces naturally. It's essential for the creation of cellular energy, particularly in the heart, brain, and muscles. But here's the catch. After age 60, your natural production of CoQ10 begins to fall sharply. And if you're taking statins for cholesterol, a common medication among older adults, your levels drop even further because statins block the same pathway your body uses to produce CoQ10. Helen had always been active, but around age 68, she noticed something change. She could no longer finish her usual walks without needing to stop. Her heart felt fine, but her energy just wasn't there. Her doctor mentioned CoQ10 and suggested a daily supplement, especially since Helen had recently started a low-dose statin. Within weeks, her stamina returned. Her muscles felt less heavy. She even started dancing again at her local community center. Frank's story was different. He'd been on statins for years, but no one ever mentioned CoQ10. Gradually, he lost his energy. He slept longer but woke up feeling unrefreshed. He stopped attending his weekly card games, not because he didn't want to go, but because he felt too tired to leave the house. It wasn't until a cardiologist suggested CoQ10 that the pieces started to fall into place. But by then, years of low energy had taken their toll, physically and emotionally. Research published in journals like Biofactors and the American Journal of Cardiology confirms it. CoQ10 supplementation can significantly improve energy levels, cardiovascular health, and even quality of life in older adults, particularly those on statins. Energy isn't a luxury. It's the foundation of independence. And sometimes, reclaiming it is as simple as giving your cells the fuel they've been missing. So now you've seen it, how 7 small deficiencies can shape the entire second half of life. Not through sudden illness, not through dramatic events, but through slow, silent shifts that steal strength, clarity, and independence one day at a time. For Helen, the difference wasn't luck. It wasn't perfect genes. It was awareness. She paid attention to the whispers her body sent her: fatigue, fog, stiffness, and chose to investigate, to adapt. Today, she moves with confidence. She remembers names. She heals quickly. Not because she's immune to aging, but because she gave her body what it was missing. Frank's path was different. He ignored the signs, resisted change, and held on to outdated beliefs about what getting older meant. Now, his world is smaller. His steps are slower, and much of it could have been prevented. The truth is, aging does not guarantee decline, but it does demand participation. Vitamin D protects your balance and bones. Vitamin B12 keeps your mind sharp and your nerves alive. Vitamin K2 guides calcium to the right places, preserving both bone and heart health. Magnesium supports sleep, mood, and resilience under stress. Omega-3s fuel the heart, the brain, and your body's fight against inflammation. Vitamin C defends your immune system and helps you recover faster. CoQ10 powers every cell, restoring the energy many believe is gone for good. You don't have to take everything at once, but you do need to listen, to test, to respond. The difference between growing older and growing weaker lies in choices, made not in crisis, but in the quiet, daily moments that shape everything else. The body wants to heal. The mind wants to stay sharp. The heart wants to keep beating strong. So give them what they're asking for. Comment below if something in this video opened your eyes. Like this video if it helped you. Subscribe for more insights on longevity and strength after 60. And don't forget to turn on notifications so you never miss a truth that could change your life. You're not done yet. You're just getting started.